Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Okay, well, this has been a very, very busy morning. We've had such great guests, and now we're going to end the morning with our special guest, Joe KARP, who I just adore and who has helped so many people. So, good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Anita. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. And, you have helped so many people. And I did have someone who called me, and I was in North Carolina. No, I was, I guess, in Michigan. And they said, I think it was Dean Webb actually called me. Did they ever get in touch with you? Because he said he had some friends that came in, and somehow the person that they were taking care of when they flew in wasn't doing well, and they didn't have their paperwork done. And do you know of a good elder law attorney? I said, of course. And I gave them your name. I hope that you had that call.
And the answer to the question is twofold. One, I'm terrible at names, so I don't remember. But two, even if I knew, it would become a confidential communication.
Okay.
And if the person gave me permission,
right.
Unless the person said, you can say this over the radio, I don't care. It's privileged. And that's an important thing, by the way, for your listeners to understand. When they come and meet with us, everything is confidential. And when we're hired to do stuff, so if they don't hire us, it's still a privileged communication and nobody knows anything and it's done. And if they do hire us, even though they may take it for granted, we don't, in our retainer agreement, it says with whom we can breach confidence. So they may trust their daughter as power of attorney, but don't want her to know anything about what's going on yet.
Yeah.
And they won't waive it. So privilege is an important thing, and I always like to remind people of that because people come in and say, oh, Anita Finley recommended me. And
right.
I'll say, can we send her a thank you note? And they say, of course, she knows we're here. We
right.
told her we were just leaving. And I say, yeah, I understand what you have the right to tell her, but I have no rights unless you give it, because your information, everything, even that you showed up here, is confidential.
Yeah, okay.
So
but I wanted to go further, Joe, with that. See, there shouldn't be this immediate necessity. It should have been taken care of before things like this happen. That's what you've been, listen, I've been with you long time.
When I'm talking to you, I'm preaching to the choir.
Right.
The answer is, like anything else, for those of you who are listening right now, get water before the hurricanes and they run out. Get batteries and flashlights before they run out. It boggles my mind. I almost understand with estate planning how people don't want to deal with the issue of death, dying, mortality, sickness, and capacity. But everybody who's listening, hello, this is August. We're in South Florida, and this is hurricane season time. You should not be running to Publix to get bread and water because you hear the hurricane is 12 hours away.
Yeah.
Put some reasonable supplies away, and maybe don't overstock your freezer if you don't have a generator.
Right.
Oh, well, enough lectures.
Right, but it is true. And I have to say another thing. I have a friend who's taking care of her sister in New York, and it's very, very serious. And apparently there is a will, but there's never been a trust. And I said to her, how she's I don't know if she's on death's door, whatever she is, you've got to get her to do this. Well, she's just been putting it off. I said, are you kidding? What? Let's just say this, and you don't know who these people are. What do you finally say to this person who's on death's door, who's still fine? I mean, she can talk and all, but doesn't look good. What do you say to convince her? In New York, probate, can you imagine that?
Well, the answer is Florida probate is equally undesirable. First of all, at this point, it may be too late because although she can sign a trust and understand it, she might not be able to transfer her assets to her trust, to get her broker to put the account in the trust. These financial bureaucracies don't work with the speed of light. So we could do the deed and deed the house to the trust or the condo because we can do that. But I can't change the ownership of your brokerage account. I can tell you what to do. I can tell your broker what to do. But then these forms have to be filled out, the transfer of the retitling of the account, etc. So some of these things sometimes too late. So people should understand there are things we can do at the last minute. So if she said, "Oh my God, I left everything to my sister who's now in a nursing home on Medicaid. I want to change my will." As long as she's cognitive, we can go there and change the will and make sure we don't kick her sister off Medicaid. But if she has to do retitling, get things in a trust, that can be problematic at the last minute. And, but people ask questions like that all the time. I'll have somebody else say, "You need to do a durable power of attorney." And I'll say, "Well, I don't need one now." I said, "Oh, really?" So when you're on the gurney, they're going to stop everything as they're wheeling you into the ER to say, "Wait a minute, I got to call a lawyer, get the lawyer in, and I need to do a power of attorney, and I need to do a health surrogate, and I need to do this now." That's not the time to do it. You got to take care of business and hope that you never need it. It's like saying, "Well, you know what? I see a spark in the kitchen, and it just caught onto the kitchen curtains. I better get fire insurance." Hello? It ain't going to happen. It's too late.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Joe, that I've been curious about. What happens in probate? What does it mean? I'd say someone passes away. Tell me about probate.
Where assets don't pass automatically from an owner to a beneficiary, whether it's through a transfer on death, whether it's a joint with right of survivorship, or whether it's a trust. Those are some of the ways it can pass automatically. If you will, automatically, the trust at least is not an automatic, but it's not through the probate court. But assume you own an asset, or more than one, that has to go through the court. When you die, it doesn't automatically go to somebody. And a lot of things don't. People don't realize that. Then you have to file probate, which is asking the court to honor your will, to basically validate your will and say this is a true and correct will and this is good. It then designates who's in charge. The court then appoints that person, assuming they meet the legal requirements of being in charge. And then there are probate procedures that have to be followed. So in a traditional formal probate, there has to be a publication to all creditors, known and unknown, that this person has died, and if you're a creditor, you have a time period in which to file a claim. There has to be notification in writing to known creditors that they have the right to file a claim. There's always a requirement, if the person who dies is over 55, to notify in writing the Department for Medicaid, the state of Florida Medicaid, to see if the state has any claim. And by the way, I don't care if you're Wayne Huizenga, who died a while ago, who owned the Dolphins in the stadium and was loaded. They had to get notified that Wayne Huizenga died, so everybody has to notify them. And then everything you do has to be documented and provided proof to the court that you did what you do. And the interesting thing is, probate is there, yes, to protect the beneficiaries, that the person has given the beneficiaries the money, the person has done a full accounting. But the biggest reason probate is there, in terms of what the probate court is making sure of, if you heard me start, it's to make sure every creditor has been taken care of, that the decedent's bills were paid. But everything else has to be done, and it's a very formal I-dotting and T-crossing. Now, when you have a trust, you have a legal requirement, both under the law and under the trust, to do certain steps and follow them. And so that you're not cheating the beneficiaries and things like that. But you don't have to account to the court. You don't have to go by their clock. You don't have to send out certified letters to everybody of everything all of the time. So it's a much more arduous and expensive proceeding. But with a trust, for the most part, most people are going to need some professional help and guidance to living up to their standards, but sometimes not. I mean, if the parent dies and the kid is the only beneficiary, the kid's not going to need the sophistication to have every step dotted and I's, T's crossed because the kid is the only beneficiary. But if you're the trustee and you've got to take care of your siblings or you've got to take care of your whoever else is getting assets, you're going to need some professional help, but you're not going to have to beat to the drum of the court system. And you're not going to be leaving a public record of who you left what to and what was going on. So it's a way through the court system to pass assets from a decedent to a beneficiary with documentation that it's taken place. And it's just a slower, more costly procedure and public.
I see. You did explain that whole thing because it's, people who've passed away, the relatives, the people who are the beneficiaries, they're in a rush to get things together, especially. So let me back up and ask you another question. So let's say this wasn't done, but there's property where there's renters or there are people that someone has to jump in and get things done. Do you as an attorney help them to get?
Oh, yeah. When we're doing it, when we are handling it, we help them, we advise them. We have to, but first of all, until they get appointed by the court, which is a separate procedure, it takes longer to do. So your hands are tied. You can't just say, okay, I need you to do this. I need to get the money out of the bank. If it's going through probate until it's all approved by the court, you have no authority to act. You can't sell anything. You can't take the money out of the account. There's nothing you can do if you're the personal representative under an estate until the court authorizes that. Whereas if there's a trust and it says, if I'm dead, so-and-so is the trustee, as soon as the successor trustee can substantiate my death, the successor trustee can automatically take over. And if that successor trustee happens to be, quote, a co-trustee, so Debbie is trustee of my trust with me, and the bank already knows she's on, then, right, because she's already listed as a trustee, she can still do stuff while I'm dead because the bank already knows she can sign, so she doesn't even have to show that. You follow? It's just a smoother transition.
Yeah.
I analogize those things to passing a baton in a relay race. You don't want the damn baton to drop. You're going to lose the race.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want permission to pass. You're standing there with the baton, and you say, "Well, we can't pass it yet. We got to wait for the court to approve it. We got to get all the paperwork into the court. We got to get the judge available." And not every jurisdiction. Palm Beach County is uniquely wonderful in that they still allow, by the way, the lawyers to come to court to open up an estate. Many of the counties in Florida now, because of the backlog and whatever, and the clerk's office, you can't even go to court to open up an estate. Many of the counties, you have to mail in the papers. You can't say, "Judge, this is an emergency. The house is going to be foreclosed if I can't get access to pay off the money, blah, blah, blah." You can't say, or this person is supposed to get money, it's an emergency. You can't even get in front of the judge. You got to mail it in. And you go by their schedule. And some counties are relatively quick, but you're still dealing with the mail, so it might be 2 weeks or a week and a half. Some counties, 7-8 weeks. You can't do anything.
Wow.
You're just waiting. And I'm not suggesting that the judges are not doing their jobs. It's just that because of the volume, and it's like anything else in life, what do we prioritize? We generally prioritize what's in front of our face. So if the judge is the probate judge who's going into court every day doing other stuff and tied up in court with a trial and other motions and things like that. They get off the bench at the end of the day. They're tired. Maybe they have to do some work about that trial to get prepared. And they see this stack of stuff about dead people. They might say, you know, tomorrow I'll get to that. I got to take care of the people who are in front of me. You know, just it's human nature. You know, so you want to try to avoid the court system if you can, if it's appropriate. That's all. It's not a. And by the way, for those who think the court care, the state doesn't care. The state would love people to avoid probate. In Palm Beach County, and Broward County, it costs a little over $400 to file a probate estate. It's not like New York where they actually look at the value of the estate to determine it. The $100,000 estate and the $100 million estate has the same filing fee. Okay? That's all the state gets from you. So if you are a big, complicated mess with 10 files of drawers full of paper, well, they don't take paper anymore, it's scanned, but they got to process thousands of pieces of paper. The state doesn't get one more penny for doing it. So if they can cut the costs for the taxpayers and cut the workload for the court system and the clerks, they're happy.
Mm. Well,
so it's not like they're fighting to get this business.
Okay, so let me ask.
Like if there's a trial, it takes that much time. You don't pay a per diem for the use of the courtroom, the judge, and the bailiff.
Yeah. So let me ask you, though, let's talk about your seminars. And it's everyone. I had more people in my studio this morning, and they all took the magazine. So you have to help me. Will you tell everybody how they're going to get to see you?
By the way, I went yesterday I stopped by Anchor Bank in Palm Beach Gardens, and I discovered your magazine was there.
Right. Well, we're putting it everywhere we can. I'm glad.
So, anyway.
Okay,
here's our scheduled workshops. We do public workshops. We're doing these in August. We won't be doing it in September, so if you want to catch us, don't wait.
Oh, you know what? I've got them. Thank you.
I've got it.
I've got it, too. So you just hold your breath and let me do it but maybe you know something I don't know. Is that what you're doing?
No, you do what you want. And
I want to do it. Yeah, let me do it so you can take a break. But I know that, of course, over the summer, I think there was 1 month that you didn't do it, but now you're back. And because people really, Joe, I have to say, people look forward to these seminars that you do. They are free, which is unheard of to have a lawyer like you. But let me just tell everybody, remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio. And so just get your pencils out. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. We're going to start off Tuesday, August the 14th. I'm sorry. Tuesday, August 14th from 1:30 to 4, Courtyard by Marriott in Boynton Beach. It's a lovely place, and just write that down. Now, if you can't make that one, let's bring you up to Palm Beach Gardens Marriott, and that's Wednesday, August the 15th from 1:30 to 4. And then if all else fails and you want to actually see what's going on up in the northern part of, it's really, I guess it's Port St. Lucie is, it's Martin County?
No, Port St. Lucie is St. Lucie County.
Oh, it is St. Lucie County. Coast. Oh, the Treasure Coast. Okay. So we're going to take you Thursday, August the 16th from 1:30 to 4. And you wonder what's going to go on from 1:30 to 4. Well, the time will pass so quickly. Do you supply a pad and a paper, a pencil and pad?
We supply paper and pen. Yes,
Good.
We do. And
you're going to need that. You want to make notes.
Want to make notes.
Right. And let me also give you a phone number for someone to call the office for more information. And then I'm going to give you their website because that has all the information on it. Their phone number at KARP Law is 1-800-893-9911. Now, if you want to see what's going on, because their website has so much, it's called karplaw.com, and it's KARPLAW, karplaw.com. So, and you've been listening now, of course, to Joseph S. KARP, who is a certified elder law attorney. It's something you really need to be aware of. There are different kinds of elder law attorneys. Some attorneys just practice elder law, but some really they're certified in it because they really take it extremely seriously. And you're going to go to the Senior Survival Workshop, and all the questions that I asked Joe, I'm sure you cover in your workshops, don't you?
I cover a lot of them, and then what we do, if we believe we can help someone, we offer them an opportunity for free consultation with one of the lawyers in our firm. And there are 5 of us, and they've all been mentored by me and work with me, and we work as a team. And they get to see lawyers who can give them a free evaluation of what they've got and whether they're in good shape or they need our help. And did I lose you, Anita?
No, I'm here. I'm listening. Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, so it's an opportunity for people to get a free second opinion of their existing estate plan if we believe we can help them. And we'll tell you if we don't believe we can help you why we wouldn't give you an appointment. But for the most part, most people we believe we can help, even if that help is just to evaluate their existing plan and tell them, you know what, your plan is in good shape. That's also helping people. And people will learn about areas that they never heard about. They hear about, we'll talk about the traditional estate planning issues that everybody thinks they know about. We'll explain why a trust is different than a will and why it can facilitate making life easier for people. We can look at people who already have a trust and tell them whether their trust is antiquated because of the changes in the tax law. And we also then talk about Medicaid and long-term care planning, how not to go broke in a nursing home. And it's very interesting. 20 years ago when I was doing this, if you came into my office with $1 million and the cost of a nursing home was $3,500 a month and you were 80 years old, your attitude was, I got enough money to last me the rest of my life even if I end up in a nursing home because it's, $3,500 a month and I'm not going to live a whole bunch of years that much that it's going to dissipate my assets from $1 million. I've got my Social Security and I've got this and that. Today, people are walking into my office with $800,000. They're 92 and their wife is 91, and they are scared to death that they're going to go broke because they don't plan on checking out soon. And the average cost of a nursing home in this county, both Broward and Palm Beach counties, is more than $10,000 a month for a semi-private room. So people have concerns about that, and we give them the truth about what they can do, can't do, and what we can do for crisis intervention. Unfortunately, although you said, you try to avoid those problems at the last minute, the reality is a lot of our Medicaid work is done as crisis intervention. And of course, like anything else, if it's gonna be more stressful for people to get things done at the last minute. While your loved one is sick in a nursing home or going into the nursing home and you want to attend to their needs, you also don't want to go broke. So it's always better to plan. And even for the people who don't plan, if they've developed a relationship with us and we've told them how to be prepared and what to do and call us up, it then gives them peace of mind if it hits the fan. And a lot of our clients have hired us for estate planning not because they need Medicaid. They need to have our firm on their bandwagon when the time comes. They need to know that they can call up their law firm and say, okay, the thing we were worried about happened. Now what can you do for us? So it's an important
thing, Joe.
And people got to recognize that.
Thank you so much. And we now have had a wonderful talk with you, and I've had a lot of questions answered. Appreciate it very much. I look forward to seeing you and your gorgeous wife, Debbie. Hopefully everybody's doing well. And thank you again for everything, always.
Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye, Joe.